بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وصلى الله على سيدنا ونبينا وحبيب قلوبنا وشفيء ذنوبنا أبي القاسم مصطفى محمد وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين سيما بقية الله في أرض صاحب الأسر والزمان أرواحنا له فداء. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته. I would like to share with you some remarks on the issue of Yemen. I do not take particular topic to speak about. I will make remarks generally on this catastrophe. It is now 7 years that Yemen has been under attack in what they call war. The definition of war is a fight between two militaries of two sovereign nations. But what is happening now is aggression against Yemen is not war at all. It's a crime against humanity. They have been subjected to series of airstrikes from far. Strikes that descends upon ordinary people, killing men, women, and children in their houses, in their places of work. There has been attack on schools, killing teachers and students. Even a school bus was attacked carrying children to school. Prison was attacked, killing a number of inmates and workers. Hospitals also were attacked, killing patients, nurses and doctors and other workers. One might ask, is it war? But that's what they say. And what is the reason behind it? Why fight Yemen? Those who carry out these air raids, the coalition of KSA and UAE, on behalf of their masters, US, UK, and France. They said that the reason is to return the ousted President Mustahadi back to power. One might ask, is it the business of coalition of KSA, UAE, and other countries to decide for the Yemenis who should be their president? It is the business of Yemenis to decide who should be their president. If they want Hadi back, it is up to them to say they want him back. If they don't want him, it is their own business. After all, how can you think of raiding a nation and to return an individual back to power? Should that individual go back and be president of dead people? Or is he going to be president of the bereaved families, survivors of his war? For example, you would expect the children of whose fathers were murdered to accept the murderer as their new president? Or you expect fathers whose children were murdered to accept, in order to return Mustahadi, to accept Mustahadi as their president? There is no sense in this war at all. It's a sensational fight. One might say, what is the real reason? Certainly it's not to return somebody back to power. There has to be a reason. After all, the coalition is actually fighting of a proxy war. All the weapons that are used were made and supplied by Western powers. Their weapons and their so-called advisors were on the ground to carry out all the atrocities against the Yemeni people. The proxy war one might ask, why is the West interested in destroying Yemen, putting women into siege? They have done so in other countries, quite okay. They have done so in Libya, in Iraq and Syria, now in Yemen, destroying everything possible. It appears there is a grand design to create what they call New World Order, or what they call a Greater Israel. And certainly they consider those in the coalition to already be part of that Greater Israel. That's why they don't consider attack upon KSA and UAE. Because after all, they think that they are part of their nations already. Jordan was already part of them. They consider that if there is any problem, these people will kill themselves, and in the end of the day, they weaken themselves, and at the end of the day, they will find it easy to absorb all of them. Now, why is the world silent about the catastrophe in Yemen? People have been deprived of pure drinking water. They have been deprived of electricity. They have been deprived of oil, energy to power everything, including running the hospitals. There have been humanitarian crisis in a nation which has before the attack has been suffering. And now the attack has made things worse. And with the coming of COVID-19, things become worse for Yemenis. They have been put in siege. Demand for food, medicine, and everything has been denied to these people, and yet they are called as if they are aggressors. The aggressors now blame them for crime they have never committed. The humanitarian problem in Yemen is the worst of its kind in modern human history, and nobody simply cared. But alhamdulillah, the Yemenis have resisted so far, and they have the right to resist. Whereas the Yemenis, it's the military that is fighting, and they respond in the way they could to some targets, including military. Of course, most of it is military targets. Whereas the attack against the civilian people, they have resisted so far, and they have been adamant. And we hope and pray that the victory will be on Yemeni side, inshallah. May Allah protect Yemeni people. May Allah destroy the arrogant powers and their puppies who fight on their behalf. Sallallahu alaihi wa sallam.